Crikey, down under, mate, is where the next UFC event is heading, but in my eyes, UFC in general is heading down. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. Here to talk about some MMA today, some Ultimate Fighting Championship. It's UFC 3112. It is Duplessis versus Strickland. Now, I may have pronounced his name wrong, but you know what? I honestly do not care because this guy shouldn't have the belt. I don't care if he won his last title fight, if he won his last title defense, because he shouldn't have the belt in the first place. I think when he fought Strickland for the title, I believe that Strickland won that. I mean, it wasn't a one-sided fight. I mean, it wasn't domination from Strickland. But for me, I think Strickland certainly did enough to win 3 out of the 5 rounds, especially when you consider he's champion. A lot of times they say that you have to really go there and strip the belt for the champion, and I don't feel like Duplessis did that last time these two guys fought. So look, I hope that Strickland wins it back. I like Strickland. I'm a fan of Strickland. Funny guy. Big Trump man as well. So yeah, big fan of Donny T. So who knows? Will Strickland win? I'll be rooting for him, but we're here to look at the card in general because I was looking at it and I just don't think it's that impressive. So I get it. People will say, well, it's not one of the massive events, but come on, it's still a UFC event, and for me, outside of the main event, I just don't really see much happening here. So we've got Duplessis versus Strickland for the middleweight title, obviously. Strickland's the #1 challenger, so yep, it's the best match they can make at middleweight, I suppose. Should be a good fight. I am looking forward to it. No complaints about the main event. Definitely this is a main event match. So, like, it's a good fight for any UFC card in my eyes. We've got the co-main event, the women's strawweight title bout. It's Shang Weili versus Tatiana Suarez. Now, it's the champion at strawweight versus the #1 challenger, #1 contender as well. So, I mean, arguably, it's the best fight you could make in that division. It's the champion versus the #1 ranked person. But for me, I'm just not a big fan of women's MMA fights, to be honest. And it's not really the co-main event that I would want to see. But, I mean, it could be a good fight. I'm not going to say it's going to be a bad fight, but just rather see something else, to be honest. Heavyweight bout, we've got Justin Tava of New Zealand taking on Talison Teixeira from Brazil. And I mean, I think that they've put a lot of New Zealand, Kiwi, Aussies on this show. I mean, the card's mainly made up of people from New Zealand, Australia, or from, you know, the surrounding countries of Australia, the likes of Japan or any other Asian country like Korea, China. It seems to be that's what they're doing here, and you can tell from the card that, I mean, they're basing a lot of these fights and a lot of these fighters based on the geography of the fighters, the nationality. We've got Jimmy Crute versus Rodolfo Bellato in a light heavyweight title fight. Then we've got Jake Matthews versus Francisco Prado. So again, another Australian in there. That is the main card. Prelims, we've got Jack Jenkins versus Gabriel Santos, another Australian. We've got Hung Sung Park of South Korea taking on Nyamajargo Tumen Debriel of Mongolia. We've got another Australian, Cody Haddon versus Alexandre Topuria. Don't know where he's from. He's not got a country. And then it's Tom Nolan, again of Australia, taking on Vladislav Borishev of Russia. And again, like I said, a lot of Aussies on this card here, 100%. Moving into the early prelims, we've got Quilland Salkild of Australia taking on Anshul Jubilee of India. We've got in the women's flyweight bout Wang Kong taking on Bruna Brazil. She's also from Brazil. Honestly, when I first looked at that person, I thought it was a dude. Wang Kong. I thought Wang had a big wang, but it turns out it's a woman. So, aye, but kind of looks like a dude in my eyes. But, I mean, whatever. We've got Jonathan Micallef of Australia taking on Kevin Jousset of France, and that is it, guys. So I mean, there you go. Obviously it's taking place in Australia. There's a shitload of Australian fighters on this card, but that doesn't mean it's going to be a good card. Just because it's got a lot of hometown fighters in it doesn't mean it's going to make a good event. Here, the people in attendance. The Australian fans, the hometown fans, they will be happy, I think, to see a lot of people that they can get behind, and a lot of their fellow countrymen and or countrywomen or whatever, they'll want that. That will keep them more invested and they'll be more interested in it. But in my opinion, the Fuels, it's just not a great fight card. So yeah, I think UFC has been going downhill a lot lately, especially with the fight cards. I mean, there's some big fights that can be made, but more often than not, every time there's a UFC event, whether it's announced in advance or whether I just watch it on the night of the show, or even if I don't watch it and I just look at the results or the highlights, a lot of these cards are just not that impressive. There's not a lot of fights or a lot of recognisable fighters, in my opinion, on these cards. But here is what it is. Let me know what you guys think down below. UFC 312. Do you think it's going to be a good event? Are you going to be watching? Who do you think is going to take the win in the main event? Will it be Plessis or will it be Strickland? Let us know down below, and we'll catch you in the next one. Till then, peace.